So my wife came up to me last night and said, honey, worry about all the things that you've got to do about your visa, which is the 13A, the getting your driver's license, getting the bank, and all the other things you worry about. Did you think about me? And I go, what do you mean? She goes, well, I'm a green card holder, so I understand I can't leave for more than 6 months. And I said, no, I've never heard that. And she said, no. She said, no, it's true. I looked it up and it was pretty much true. There are ways around it, but it's going to be difficult to keep with the plan that I have without modifying it a little bit. So this is what the rule is. It's called, you need a re-entry permit when you're a green card holder, or I should say, or if you're applying for your green card, or you're waiting for citizenship. Now, she's not waiting for citizenship, so that's not going to be too bad, because if you're gone out of the country more than 6 months, then you won't be able to apply for citizenship, because the last 5 years you've had to be in the country. Well, she's been here 39 years. She's never been gone 6 months. But she's never had the desire to become an American citizen. I never had the desire for her to become an American citizen. She didn't want it. She didn't want it. I thought, well, you got to own a house and you can do everything I can do, so I'm not sure why you need it. If you don't want it, don't get it. Well, now I wish you got it, because now I find out as an American citizen, you're allowed to travel as long as you want out of the country, but every time somebody with a green card travels out of the country for longer than 6 months, there's no guarantee that they'll let them back in. So every time we come back on a stay that was longer than 6 months out of the country, we have to deal with that. Even if we have the permit, it doesn't guarantee us that she's going to be let back in. So it has me worried a little bit, but not too much, because I've never heard of this, so it can't be a big thing. I'm not thinking. There are a lot of Filipinos that live in Texas. There's a couple there in Texas, right? Texas Filipino, I have to ask him, do they go back to Texas and then come back and forth? Is she an American citizen? Is that why it never came up? Another couple in Cebu. I think they were moving from, I forget where they were at, Kansas, Kentucky, and they're going back right now. But they were in Cebu for 3 years. She came to the country. Maybe she's an American citizen. I'm not sure. Okay, so it's called the Form I-131, and it covers 5 different things, but one of them it covers this treaty thing, this permit thing. Another one it covers that person is called a parolee, the person that's going for the green card or going for citizenship. A lot of times what happens is they come here early on. This is what it's really geared for. Somebody's coming on here early on, and they don't want somebody here 2 or 3 years and say, oh, I got to go home for a year and then I'll come back. And then while I'm gone, I still get to wait for my citizenship. They say, no, you have to be in the country 5 years straight before you can be a citizen. That's a requirement. So, okay. So then they have to start over again. And just to make sure everyone's on the up and up, if you're gone longer than 6 months, they're going to question you like crazy. They can refuse you at the port of entry. But if you're gone longer than a year, you're automatically going to go see somebody at the immigration office, and you're going to have an interview. And you're going to have to sit down what happened. But the permit, you get it in ahead of time. What you do is you're going through biometrics. So you're going to go for an appointment with the biometrics, get your fingerprints, your background check. And then when you come back in the country, you'll have your fingerprints with you, I guess. So you're going to have the document with you. But they're going to know that you didn't commit any crimes, and they're going to know who you are when you come back, that you didn't switch identities or someone else is traveling on your passport now. You also need this form if you don't have a passport. Okay, so it takes I think this says 2 months to 5 months to complete. It can vary. You can expedite it. And under one case, somebody expedited it, and it only took them 5 weeks from the start to go to the end. Then you have to pay extra for that expedite, and you have to actually prove it with, like, maybe somebody's dying at home and you need to go take care of them. Maybe you're going to college classes or something and you're running late. I'm not sure exactly all the different excuses. Ours is tourism, basically, because we want to go to the Philippines. But apparently, for her to keep her green card, she's going to have to come back. You can also file, we could file right now, but if it took only, say it took 4 months, and this is what, beginning of March. So we're looking at beginning of July, we would be done. And the 2 years starts from the time it's issued, not from the time you want to go on your trip. So therefore, we can't really file this right away because that'll be too soon for us to come back, in my opinion, at least for me. So we're going to have to file it, I'm going to say it should be done within 2 months. They said it's 4 to 8 weeks from the time you apply to the time you get your biometrics done, your appointment scheduled and finished. So my thought is, instead of waiting for 2 months before we go, we'll go ahead and do 3 months before we go. Just give it like a 30-day window. And then if they don't give it to us before we leave, it won't matter because it could take up to 5 months. So there is an option where they can actually send it to somebody in the Philippines or to the consulate or something like that. So I'm going to look into that part of it next. But there is a place to put an address, a foreign address. So we can start it here, do the biometrics, then we can get on the plane and leave. And then we'll get that paper so we can go back. I think it's the U.S. consulates where we go, our immigration office overseas. So that would have to be the consulate. And then if anything happened, say 8 months from now, say Katie needed us to come back for some reason, Katie or Anthony, and we got on a plane and left, then we're still covered. We got everything done. So we'll have that. And we can actually go back. If we had to come back for a short time, we could come back and go back again, because that document also is supposed to cover up to 2 years of frequent traveling. So a lot of times you might go 2 months here, 2 months there, 3 months here. And that also might put you under being here in the U.S. shorter than 6 months. So for that reason, you still have to have that I-131 completed. Cost is $575 for the form to be registered for their, registered. $575 for the form to be processed. So that's your application fee, non-refundable. And then $85 for your biometrics. And if you're under the age of 14 or over the age of 80, then you're not supposed to need to get the biometrics. You can skip that. And so that's about all I know about that.